the setting there. What Antos, how you doing? Alright, we're back now? Cool. I'll see if anybody showed up to this rally. It's probably going to be very small, but it'll be worth checking out. Brian, how you doing? Johnzilla, Forilla. There's a school bus here, so there's at least 5 people here. Lunchtime, cheers. Got a Starbucks for lunch. I'm gonna eat in about...
Is this where the swamp rally is?
I don't know, I think so, hopefully.
Right? I know, I'm kind of confused. I don't know if it's on the other side or...
Oh, there's another side? I'm gonna go walk around and find it.
Cool. That's what we're here for.
Alright, if you tune into PortlandAndy on YouTube, you'll know when I find it. You'll see me with people. Yep. Good job. Well, there's one people there ready for the Swamp the Rally. That's cool. Plugged. I didn't know there was another side. There's the Golden Man. I think it'd be down here. Maybe it's not going to be as big as previous rallies. Oh, I see a camera. I see a Harley Davidson jacket. I see a Nations billboard. Probably right there with those 10 people. Oh, that's going to be huge. A good thing the troopers are here to enforce peace. I forgot my tripod. Son of a gunner. Should I go back and get the tripod or just do it by hand? Oh. The tripod's gonna be so much easier. Should I go back and get the tripod? I don't gotta hold the dang thing. I'm only like 1 block away. Go in raw. Get the tripod. What time is it? Yeah. Let's get the tripod real fast. I mean, nah, screw it. I should get it. I really should get it. But I'm just lazy right now. So I'm not going to get it. $12:04. We don't want to be late. We're already like late, I guess. I don't know. We'll just go in raw. We'll just hold it in the hand. Motorcycle. Nope, there's already people having issues with the mags. Draining the swamp. Oh yeah, we're in the right place. See all the red hats draining. They're draining the Oregon swamp. She got the damn tripod. You're right. Yes, possibly. They got some bike cops over there. There's a lot of police. Keep these 15 people in order. I think this is it right here. These are the counter protesters. I don't know. I'm just making things up. I think it starts now, I believe. Deuce? How do you pronounce that? Holy smokes, how do you pronounce that? I've never seen that name before. The Kate Brown in prison shirt. Swap ass pro. Oh, those dogs over there. My title's fine, I think. When does a rally become a protest and vice versa? Kid Curry. Who needs their back cracked? You ever had your back cracked? No, it was a dog over there. It wasn't me. There were some dogs over there that were walking by. It wasn't me. Dogs love me. Oh, I see. All these other people are coming out of the Capitol, and these Trumpians are outside. It must have rained here, sir.
Check.
Yes, it is.
1,500 petitions. But I'll let you go. I'll let you know.
Found a garbage can. You can throw it in the old garbage.
All right. If you're here for the rally, if I could ask you to kindly step up here, and we'll get this thing started.
We made it, boys. We're in the correct area. We didn't bring out a tripod, though. Hey, it's this kid again. This kid works for the school. He's doing something.
It is a little chilly up here.
All right, we'll hug them together. We'll keep each other warm.
Andy, what's up?
Hey, what up? How's it going? What are you doing here? Just came to see what's going on, as always. What are you doing here?
Can you see what's up?
No big gulps. How's everybody doing today? Yeah. I like the sound of that. Well, thank you all for coming. My name is Cole Rainey, and I decided to create this rally to do a number of things. The first of which is a newer reason, and that's to thank the GOP senators and reps who walked out for us. Can we get a round of applause for the senators who walked out and killed cap and trade? They did the right thing.
Yes, they did.
And they proved they're true leaders for our state.
Yes. That's what we
So,
paid them to do.
this is the Drain Oregon's Swamp Rally.
Hey.
Who here wants to drain Oregon's swamp? Yeah!
Yeah.
This swamp in that marble nut house right there has, right over there, has repeatedly lied, has repeatedly misled good-intentioned people and children to believe that the world is going to end in 10 years due to climate change. They've lied repeatedly. They said that cap and trade was dead last session, and now they had to walk out again because they brought it back. They gave it CPR. Michael Dembrow and Kate Brown resurrected it from the dead and brought it back, and they're going to put a massive burden on us if it were to pass, but thankfully, they walked.
Yes. Thank you.
Also, can we get a round of applause for Oregon State Police being here and doing their job? Thank you very much. So Oregonians, please wake up. And if you're here today, I'm sure you're already awake. But if you're watching online, then I ask you, please, wake up. Your way of life is being stolen from you. Your God-given rights are being stripped away one at a time. Your American dream and your children's American dream is being seized from you, all for the sake of Democrat politicians taking control of our lives.
Through democracy.
And I'm going to go over a few things that they're putting into place, and they've tried to put into place here in the short session, which, remember, was designed for budgetary fixes, fixes in grammar and the law, and small little tweaks here and there.
That's right.
First of all, cap and trade. What do we think of cap and trade? That's what I thought.
Carbon tax.
The carbon tax.
The main problem, and there are several with cap and trade, but the main problem is that it allows foreign corporations to buy Oregon carbon credits. That means Chinese corporations can buy Oregon carbon credits. What do we think of China? They're literally communists. And Kate Brown has met with President Xi of China.
Yes.
She traveled to Asia recently and for climate law trade deal meetings with Japan, South Korea, and China.
Who paid for that?
Yeah, who paid for her to meet with China? We did.
That's right. Soros?
So, not only does this bill sell us out to China, it subsidizes Chinese corporations who want to open energy facilities in the state of Oregon with our tax dollars.
Yeah.
So Kate Brown is literally bolstering China's economy as Oregonians have to bear the cost and work for Chinese billionaire oligarchs who don't give a damn about us.
Thank God for Trump.
That's why we need President Trump to get involved here.
Yes.
What do we think of President Trump? President Trump needs to tell Attorney General Barr, which he has every right to do, to look into Oregon, look into this cap and trade bill, and do something about the fact that our governor is selling us out to China.
Absolutely. Right.
She has them in our house today. She has them in our house today.
And sanctuary cities. That's another
She
thing
had
we
them
went
in
today.
Go ahead, Cole.
Wait, what was that news?
Didn't she have a meeting with them today?
Is that...
Monday? Is it today or Monday? I don't remember.
Well, she met with more Chinese oligarchs recently. My goodness. It's just despicable what these people are up to. And not only that, but it's a slush fund. You see,
That's right.
money gets allocated to these agencies who then collect union dues. And then where do those union dues go? To people like Kate Brown every single time. Public unions are a problem.
Yep.
I'm not against tradesmen, I'm not against private unions, but public unions are a problem. And the cost of this would all get pushed down to us. Not the Chinese oligarchs. They're in bed with the communist government of China. These people have way more than one source of income. So the assertion that opening an energy facility in Oregon would be these Chinese oligarchs' only source of income or some way of... What I'm trying to say is this bill sells us out to China, and I'm not okay with that. This would just...
Hey, Cole, what's an oligarch? Because a lot of people don't know what that means.
An oligarchy is where a group of people run a country. And the communist government of China masks itself by not essentially giving every decision-making ability to Xi Jinping, yet they have the Communist Party of China, which is full of oligarchs, making these decisions.
Like Bernie Sanders.
What do we think of Bernie Sanders?
Socialist.
What a
Communist.
Venezuela's calling him.
I didn't know what state he was in.
So, aside from cap and trade, how about the swamp's push for gun control? What do we think about gun control?
Crazy.
Just crazy. The leftists need Oregonians disarmed and unequipped to defend themselves in order to implement these totalitarian policies. I mean, think about it. Mandatory vaccinations. What do we think of mandatory vaccinations?
Stay out of my family's life.
What about mandatory newborn home visits?
Socialists.
What about medical kidnapping?
What?
Rampant.
In order to implement these things and break apart families, they need us disarmed.
Yes.
That's right.
And they wanted to force us to store our weapons in our own home. House Bill 4005, which is dead now because the Republicans walked. Yeah! And to that I say, what would happen in the event of a home invasion?
Yeah.
Hit him with Wait a your minute, let me go get my gun.
Let me spend 5 minutes opening this safe.
Yeah, there you go.
A Hood River woman was raped for over an hour, along with her 3-year-old daughter because she was disarmed. That's the result of these policies. That's what the Democrat politicians in that marble nut house are pushing for. They're siding with criminals over law-abiding citizens and turning law-abiding citizens into criminals.
And they're getting driver's licenses too.
Absolutely. And there was another bill on the docket which would have gave local governments the choice to create gun-free zones in public spaces. You know 97% of mass shootings happen in gun-free zones?
Yes. Yes.
You know criminals don't obey gun laws?
Antifa's a red flag.
Huh?
Antifa's a red flag.
A unicorn hopper.
This bill would have incentivized mass shooters to target public areas because criminals don't obey gun laws. And aside from all the gun control, all the cap and trade, all the legal stuff they're doing, they're breaking federal law.
That's right.
As we're a sanctuary state.
Right. Not for long.
Not for long. ICE is issuing subpoenas.
Yeah, today.
What do we think of ICE here in Oregon? Sanctuary policies are not only illegal, they're dangerous.
Yes.
Illegal aliens commit disproportionately more crime than American citizens. Hundreds of Oregonians have been murdered at the hands of illegal aliens, many of which end up walking free and fleeing the country. Like Alejandro Maldonado Hernandez, who killed an Oregonian and was allowed to flee to Mexico because of our sanctuary policies.
Wow. Not anymore.
An Oregonian, gone forever because Kate Brown prioritizes social justice over actual justice.
Your shirt says it all.
That's why I wear this shirt. Because, for instance, Judge Shelley M. Richmond Joseph of Massachusetts got obstruction of justice charges for aiding and abetting criminal illegal aliens. Our politicians deserve the same thing, don't you think?
Yes.
And aside from cap and trade, which is illegal, as it technically qualifies as treason, as they're adhering to an enemy of Oregon, an enemy of the United States, China, who routinely violates human rights, who is targeting people in their homes who may or may not be sick with the coronavirus and just taking them out of their homes. And I literally saw a video where they were shoving a man in a box in the back of a truck to haul him off to a hospital. Wow. And I have inside sources that have told me that whole sections of hospitals are just going unaccounted for.
Wow.
China is violating human rights every single day. They have concentration camps where they lock up Christians. They lock up, huh?
They always have.
Yeah,
One child family.
yeah.
CDC.
The government forces people to get abortions because they have a one-child policy law.
Yep.
And essentially, all I can get from the fact that Kate Brown continues to meet with Chinese oligarchs and the president of China,
She's worth over $35 million. Why not?
she is
More.
a wolf in sheep's clothing.
That's right.
And that woman deserves criminal charges. What do you all think of Kate Brown being in a jail cell?
She left town, by the way. That's her plane.
And the Oregon Democrats have continuously proven to have some sort of tolerance for pedophilia. Terry Bean raped a 15-year-old boy in his hotel room with his boyfriend, then tried to pay off the boy. This man was a major donor to Kate Brown and Attorney General Rosenblum. The highest ranking law official in our state was taking money from a pedophile.
What's his name?
Terry Bean.
Terry Bean?
Bean.
We'll have to remember that name.
He associates with Ted Wheeler also.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Portland mayor.
And
And
he's,
wait a minute, Kurt Schrader too.
yeah, corrupt Kurt Schrader has been pictured with Terry Bean along with Kate Brown and many others. It's disgusting. And
Probably came out of the closet together.
New congressman.
there's another pedophile who the Democrats associate with as well. And I'm the one who got a tip on this about 8 months ago, and I broke this story. Scott Balla worked as a spokesman for former Democrat Governor Ted Kolongoski, and he was caught with possession of child pornography on his work computer.
Even the dog doesn't like that.
Disgusting. And he runs a company out of Portland called Morel Inc., which aids candidates, only Democrats, with printing services. And he's received hundreds of thousands of dollars from Oregon Democrats over the past 10 years.
Your county is funding a pedophile.
Essentially, if you donate to a Democrat who's sitting in that marble nut house, aside from maybe Betsy Johnson is like the only one who didn't work with this guy. What do you guys think of Betsy Johnson? Not bad for a Democrat, you know. But still received hundreds of thousands of dollars from most Oregon Democrats. What is he spending that personal money on?
Parties.
Why are so many Democrats buddy-buddy with him? If you look at his Twitter, he's pictured with Ted Wheeler. What do you guys think of Ted Wheeler? He's pictured with Jeff Merkley. What do you guys think of Jeff Merkley?
Get him out of there.
He hangs out with all the Democrats. And the assertion that they had no idea about his charges, they were from 2007. He started running that company in 2009. So the assertion that they didn't know about his history is ludicrous. Completely ludicrous. And this guy is donated directly to certain Democrats as well. And I'll list them off. First of all, Jennifer Williamson, who thankfully her career is over. What do you guys think about Jennifer Williamson dropping out of the Secretary of State race?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that.
She claims it's because Willamette Week wrote an article about her campaign contribution history and her sketch financial dealings. But I think it has something to do with us. Because that story I wrote about Scott Balla donating money to Shamia Fagan, Kate Brown, Jennifer Williamson, and a couple Portland City councilors reached over 30,000 people. And I left Jennifer Williamson's contact info at the very bottom of that so people could contact her and ask her, why did you take money from a convicted pedophile? And she was getting a lot of pressure. And Shamia Fagan, who walks around flaunting her Protect Trans Kids shirt, also took $1,250 from the guy last election cycle.
Boo!
What do you guys think of Shamia Fagan?
Boo!
And Kate Brown as well. Kate Brown has funneled over $65,000 to his company, Morel Inc., in over 10 transactions. The Democrat Party of Oregon has funneled tens of thousands of dollars to him, if not hundreds. Point is, Oregon's swamp needs draining.
Yes.
Their borderline communist policies, along with their predatory cultural Marxism, is going to lead to only misery and suffering for Oregonians. Who here wants Oregon's swamp drained? With that, we have our first speaker, congressional candidate for CD5, Joey Nations.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Salem, I like draining the swamp. You guys ready to drain the swamp or what? Hey, if you don't know me yet, I'm shocked. My name's Joey Nations. I'm the candidate that's going to beat Kurt Schrader in 2020. You guys want a corrupt swamp monster removed from office? Then you're going to support Nations to take that guy out. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about that are going to be pretty basic for most folks to understand. Does everybody here understand that your choice in 2020 is communism versus socialism? Yes. Yeah, you understand that? Yes. You understand that Oregon is a sanctuary state? Yes. Okay. When you look at 2020, the Democrats are nothing but communists and socialists. The only choice against them is us, the Americans. Yeah. Americanism, right? So when you look at 2020, those are your options. You've got the socialists, the communists, and you got the Americans. Yeah. And so your Americanism, your future that you want for your children, for your posterity, has everything to do with putting your country first. Does everybody here understand that Oregon is a sanctuary state? Yeah. Now, I want to get this part on video. I'm going to do a little video with you guys, because if you didn't read the news on the way over here, you may have missed it. Did you see the appeals court just came down and said Trump can withhold money from sanctuary states? Now we're going to do a really quick video here because I love to take a video on my campaign trail and give that a shout out to President Trump, a shout out to what's going on. So we're going to do a quick video here. I want him to see the Patriots in Salem. You guys ready? Hey. Say hi. All right, so it's Joey Nations here and I'm speaking at the Drain Oregon Swamp Rally. You guys a bunch of swamp drainers? And what we're here to say really quick is thank you to President Trump, thank you to the appeals court for getting sanctuary states on the target. We're going to take that money away from you if you're a sanctuary state and you're endangering American citizens. So I'll be at the forefront of that as your congressman. I promise to withhold those federal funds till the sanctuary state is done. Do you guys support that? That's an easy one. So there's a couple of other things I like to talk about. When you talk about draining the swamp, everyone realizes there's two layers of swamp. There's your state layer, your marble nut house swamp, and then you've also got your federal swamp. And your federal swamp, that's my main target because you have to realize that without a serious America First patriot elected to Washington, D.C. to represent this district, we're never going to have the changes at the state level that we need as well. You need change from the top down, just like President Trump reshaped and refitted the Republican Party for war. I'm doing the same thing for the state party. So when we get ready for war, what I think that looks like, especially to your non-affiliated voters, your Republican voters, your independent voters, your voters who just don't care sometimes. That's the issues. You have to hit the issues. Immigration's number one. Oregon being a sanctuary state, that's right in my crosshairs, and it's coming down the right way. We're issuing subpoenas in Oregon. We're getting those dollars taken away if Kate Brown is going to continue to endanger our citizens. So you have that as my solemn vow as your congressman. Day one, I'm pursuing an end to illegal immigration and end to the sanctuary state. Now, when you want to drain the swamp at the federal level, a lot of what that includes is taking on the people who have been there forever. So does everybody here like term limits? That's the kind of thing that we need. If you look at these 30, 40-year people who are in Washington, D.C., they've all been doing a terrible job for 30 or 40 years, right? Can't point to one of those people that's done a great job in their district. One that comes to mind, Nancy Pelosi. Anybody seen San Francisco lately? It's a mess. And when you look at the state that's, San Francisco's located, and they got a lot of San Franciscos. They got a lot of bad cities down there. And I, for one, don't want to see that happen to my beautiful Oregon. This state is unique. She flies by her own wings for a reason. So when I talk about draining the swamp, term limits is included in that. Because if these people are going to ruin your life for 30 or 40 years, we can't give them a chance to do that. They need a maximum of 3 or 4 terms. You can't go beyond that. The president only gets 2. Why do they get 20? Doesn't make any sense. So when we look at term limits, that's one way to address it. Now here's how you get it. As your congressman, I'm going to pursue something called the Washington Corruption Act. Does anybody here know what that is yet? Well, you're going to learn about it. The Washington Corruption Act is something that the Government Accountability Institute, the president of it, Peter Schweizer, he put that out there, and I support it 100%. The Washington Corruption Act, if Congress were to pass this, as they should, it would ban all members, family, extended family, all members of Congress, the Senate, presidency, they would be banned from being lobbyists and from getting federal contracts. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. When you look at what's wrong with Washington, D.C., it's because the same dang people are there ruining your life year after year after year. The only light we've seen at the end of the tunnel has been President Trump. Can I get an amen? That's right. So when you look at what's happened, and there goes a Trump flag, Trump mobile driving by right there. Good timing. Yeah, good timing, good timing. So people have to realize, Oregon's a conservative state. I get people who give me a bad time because I'm too conservative. I'm too much like Trump. That's what I get told. And I've got these swamp monsters who want to go out there and tear me down and go after me. Well, why do you think that is? Is it because I want to drain their habitat? Is that why? It's because they know they have an adversary in me. And so the other thing, the Washington Corruption Act, the other portion of that, is making sure that we stop the revolving door. So once you're done being an elected official, you can't be a lobbyist either. That's easy. So those are a couple of issues that we want to touch on, right? But the other thing I really want to reference today is, and I don't see Kylie's family here actually, but one thing I want to reference in particular, they're on their way. One thing I want to reference in particular is government encroachment on your everyday life. Yeah. So my opponent, corrupt Kurt Schrader, who was referenced earlier, that man is a communist and he supports the Vaccine Act. Now the Vaccine Act is just one further step that the federal government now wants to take in forcing vaccines into your life, forcing medical freedom decisions into your life by allowing the government to come in and make those choices for you, for your kid. That's what Kurt Schrader's trying to do. That's what I'm trying to stop. That's good. Okay? The Vaccine Act is just one step on a slippery slope. It's a slide. And what they want ultimately is for the government to be in charge of all of your children's health decisions, all of your family's health decisions, whether it's insurance or the type of treatment, whatever it is. They want government control. How many of you want more government in your life? No, right? No. That's right. My body, my choice, and that applies. My child, my choice. That applies in a lot of ways. The liberals have stolen the cultural argument from the right. That's not going to happen anymore because we're on the right side of history. When I look at what the government's trying to do, they have a long-term goal of taking away your freedoms a little bit at a time. Everybody here is familiar with the frog boiling in the pot of water, right? Oh, yeah. Start out a little light, a little warm, heat it up as you go, frog will never notice and die in the pot. That's what they're trying to do to your average Oregonian. That's what they're trying to do with your decision-making power as well. So the Vaccine Act, that's federal. But you also have here in the Oregon Marble Nut House a lot of folks pushing for CPS to have more powers, for DHS to have more powers, and that's a big boo on those guys, okay? DHS and CPS, they're shipping our kids out of state, they're stealing money, they're making it a business, and they're talking about zero accountability. So as your congressman, I'm going to be seeking congressional oversight, and we can provide audit services to DHS and CPS and clean house. So when I look at, families like Kylie's family, there's a lot of folks just like her who have experienced the overburden of the state encroaching on your natural, inalienable freedoms. And so when you look at yourself in the mirror, when you think about election day, when you talk to your neighbors, I want you to put them on the same page that you're on. Yeah. You showed up at lunchtime on a Wednesday. Okay? That's amazing. So you have to have that same energy and portray it to your friends, your family, everybody. And it's about illegal immigration. It's about Washington corruption. It's about Oregon corruption. And it's about your freedoms. It's about your freedoms. Because this ultimately is what they want to do. They want to turn America into a socialist hellhole, just like you see all over the world. So I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts before I wrap up. Now, number one, if you haven't signed my ballot petition yet, that guy's holding it, come sign it and help me get on the ballot so I don't have to give Oregon $3,000, okay? That's number one. Come sign it today if you're in the 5th District. But the main thing I want to leave you with here today is I want to leave you with a message about socialism versus Americanism. Now, I want you to listen up. This is a serious, serious issue in our country. If you think socialism is a joke or that it's just going to go away, you're kidding yourself. You have to square up with this socialist monster and take it down. And so the big thing I want you to tell people and think about in your head, there is nowhere else in the world to run. America is it. There is no other land to stand. This is where we'll fight. Are you guys ready to fight? Then I know you're going to support me in this campaign. You know why I'm here. It's because the issues and the voters that care about those issues, that's what matters most. So I'm in a suit. I may not always be the cleanest shaven because I got to run around to events and represent you guys, okay? So I hope you're okay with just a regular working Oregonian being your congressman. Is that all right? Okay. So thank you for being here today. Draining the swamp is very, very possible. And you know who wants to drain the swamp with us every day? President Trump! He does. And he wants to come to Oregon. He's looking for a reason. So let's give him a good reason, good candidates, and a good place to come visit and get that man out here to Oregon. Let's win 2020, folks. Thank you!
Excellent speech.
Thank you, Balla, for the generous donation.
All right, and I will be welcoming our next speaker.
Thank you so much.
Of Patriot Prayer, Joey Gibson.
Hey, good luck, Joey. I like that, man. We need that energy in the United States of America. Joe touched on a lot of those things. This is a thing that I talk about all the time, okay? I talk about darkness and light all the time. It's a perfect metaphor, especially in this country, because darkness only exists in the absence of light. That is the only time. When good men and women stand down, that is when evil thrives. And ladies and gentlemen, we have been standing down for far too long in the United States of America. For far too long. Rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God. I want you to take that to heart. Rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God. Remaining silent is not obedience to God. Standing down is not obedience to God, ladies and gentlemen. God has so much to offer us for this country, but we have to fight for it. Do you understand that? He's not going to do a damn thing unless we're courageous enough to stand up. I want to talk about censorship, okay? We have people who believe in freedom. Okay, it's so inspirational. Freedom is inspirational, and people go out there and they really fight for it when they speak about it. Okay, think about William Wallace. Okay, it is so inspirational, and this is why they have to do everything that they can to shut you up. Okay, the enemy, the devil, call it whatever you want, evil. Okay, it has no power over you. God laid down the rules. He said you can do whatever you want. Evil cannot stop you, ladies and gentlemen. All it can do is convince you to stand down and to quit. Do you understand that? This is the thing that I've been trying to preach and I'm trying to push for people. You are an amazing person and you got to believe it. You got to believe the potential that you have, and the reason why I know it is because God built you, ladies and gentlemen. He built you, and you got to believe in that, because when you find that secret, the secret of how powerful you really are. Jesus said that we can move mountains, ladies and gentlemen. You can move mountains. When you figure out that secret, you are unstoppable, and you will change the law or change the world, and evil will run so fast from you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's right. I do.
This is why I believe, this is why I talk a lot about quitting. That is what the enemy wants, okay? Because if you keep fighting, you will do amazing things. If you get knocked down, you get up, okay? You get up and you keep going and you keep fighting and you will do unbelievable things. The thing that I've learned in the last few years is that at times it felt like I had so many things going up against me. I felt like I had the media going up against me. I felt like I had a million masked men and half men after me. You know, I was dealing with all these things, but over time I realized that none of that can stop me. Because God is more powerful than anything in this world. God only asks me to keep going and to keep fighting, and I'm here to plead with you guys to do the same thing. Do the same thing for your children and your grandchildren, because we will lose this country if we continue standing down.
We won't lose
We will.
the country.
I believe in you. I believe that's true. I believe that this country is going to change. I believe 2020 is huge. And I want to think about Joey for a second here. You know, I'm sitting there thinking about that when he's up here speaking. Listen, Kurt is an evil guy, right? That's darkness. And Kurt will continue to be an elected official in this country if we don't have men standing up. Do you get that?
Yes.
Do you get that? That's the thing. Darkness will continue to be dark. The dark room will continue to be dark unless someone brings in their light. See, you cannot hide your light anymore. There's have you guys ever heard of Church of Planned Parenthood up in Spokane, Washington? Yeah. I want to talk about this. Well, no, it's a pro-life group. What they do is they started this movement, okay? They go out in front of Planned Parenthood, the church, okay? And they have this positive event, a pro-life positive event. They worship God. They bring in music, okay? It started with like 100 people. It's once a month, then it was 200, then 300. They're packing this so much, okay? And this brings me to my next point. Planned Parenthood is freaking out right now about them doing this. All they're doing is going out there and worshiping. Planned Parenthood is freaking out because, number one, Planned Parenthood is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, okay? And they make their money off of murdering babies, tearing limbs from bodies. And the only way that they can continue to do this is if we remain spiritually weak in this country. So the followers of Christ stand down and allow them to continue to murder these innocent babies without putting up any sort of fight at all. So they're freaking out because there's this movement going on out front, okay? And they're doing everything that they can to shut them down. And what they do is they buy out politicians. That's how they keep things legal. That's how they make it so that you can't even pass a law in this country where if there's a baby born, the attempted abortion fails, they can't even pass a law saying that we're going to keep these babies alive, right? They do that by buying out these politicians all the way from this capital to every single capital, all the way down to the city council. Now the city council is putting forward a vote because they take money from Planned Parenthood, putting forward a vote to shut down this Church of Planned Parenthood, these guys who go out there simply to worship. They want to shut them down because what they're doing is they're shining a bright light out in front of Planned Parenthood. They're standing up for what they believe in a positive, inspirational way, and they're so afraid of that. That is what we need in this country. We need people to do that. And everything that you do, okay, it adds up. This is why they have to censor you, okay, because Planned Parenthood is just an example, okay? But Planned Parenthood can't get hundreds of people out in front with a positive message. It's inspirational. They can't do that. All they can do is hope that they shut down other voices. They shut down people who are inspirational, okay? This is why censorship is such a huge problem in the United States of America. They have to prop up everybody on the far left. They have to prop up CNN. CNN literally has to pay. They have to pay to put to be played in airports, right? That's what they have to do. They have to prop these people up, right? Fake news. Don't get me started on the fake news, because they are the enemy of the people. Trust me, they are the enemy of the people. I've seen obviously you see what they do to Trump and other people, okay? But it was weird for me in my position because I know who I am and I see him lie about me every single day. Like literally just make things up. It's unbelievable, okay? But I'll finish up with this. So the thing is, they're trying to shut them down because they're doing something great. That's what we need in this country. We need people to stand up, throw your events, do videos, do live videos. It doesn't matter if you have 5 people watching. If one of them are changed by you, they can go out and change the world. I'm telling you, this is what happened to me. I was watching Alex Jones a couple years ago, 2016, okay? Love him, hate him, doesn't matter. Point is, he's inspirational. He kept saying, do something, do something, do something. And I finally had enough. I went down to the RNC and I went to my first rally ever, okay, 2016, RNC, my life changed forever. And then I said, I'm done sitting around. I'm done sitting on my ass. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fight hard for this country, right? And I'm just one person. So do not doubt yourselves. Do not sell yourselves short the potential that you have, okay? And the next thing, I wish that Christine and Kylie would, oh, hey, she's here. I want to talk about this real quick. They came in and they took Kylie away from Christine. There's another example of medical kidnapping. This is straight up fascism, guys, in our country. And we cannot allow this to happen anymore. And she was strong enough to continue to fight for her daughter, and she did it and by doing live videos, right? Yeah. Wow. Doing live videos and bringing people in and inspiring people, waking people up. I have never participated in one medical kidnapping case in my entire life until she did that. Do you understand the power of that? That's why you got to speak up. That's why you got to preach. You got to do what you believe in. Wow. But the worst thing that you can do, okay, the worst thing she could have done is to remain silent, guys. That's what the enemy wants. That's what the enemy wants. Don't you forget that. Don't you forget that. The enemy wants you to remain silent. The enemy wants you to quit. So for the love of God, guys, fight as hard as you can this year. This is 2020. Whether you're going to support Joey Nations or anybody else, presidential campaign, whatever you got to do, just fight and try as hard as you can. Guys, thank you very much.
Salem jail.
Thank you, Joey. Next up, we have a very special speaker, Chrissy Dixon, or do you go by Chrissy Gayle now? I'm sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
Well, her daughter was medically kidnapped, meaning that because she decided to treat her daughter with CBD and naturopathic treatments, the state of Oregon came in and said, no, you have to undergo this costly, life-threatening procedure that she did not consent to. And they strong-armed her into consenting by telling her that she'd never see her mother again if she did not have the surgery. Wow. Disgusting. So, I'd like to welcome Chrissy Gayle.
Wow.
Thank you guys. Just wanted to touch base with everybody on a medical kidnapping for just a smidge of it. I know we're out here on the campaign of, Kate Brown getting flushed, but she does have a lot to do with it, believe it or not. When we were going through this for 2 years now, we had reached out to Kate and everybody in this Capitol building. And I mean everybody on every level, because we knew that if we didn't, the more research you do on CPS, DHS cases, you have very little time to fight before your child gets sent out to a facility, before your child's name gets marked for adoption, which my daughter on the paperwork, and I have the paperwork that they marked her for adoption. Everything they did in family court was nothing but corrupt. And I mean every single hearing. There was always something that they threw under the rug, they turned a blind eye on, and it was hard. It was hard to battle that. It was hard to battle it with attorneys. At our trial, the attorney ended up dropping the entire case right at trial. I was forced to move forward with trial without an attorney. And I'm one that actually studied and knew my rights, and they didn't care. They did not care. I stood on every constitutional right that I knew and how to use, but I fought it. Moving forward to where we're at today, without, like Joey said, without all of us coming together, and without the fight that I put up, and I fought for my daughter, literally with my own life on the line. And I did not give up, and every day I went to bed. Some nights I didn't. But every night I sat there crying my eyes out, wondering what more can I do? Who else can I reach out to? I mean, we had done everything in our power to build a momentum, to bring awareness to it, not just for my daughter, but you guys, this is happening everywhere. Everywhere in Oregon is bad. The tri-counties are horrible. Multnomah County, Clackamas County, and Washington County are some of the worst counties I have ever seen anywhere and anyone talk about in the entire United States. I just actually talked to an advocacy group out on the East Coast this morning for an hour and a half. They heard about our case. They don't have very much medical kidnapping going on right now, but it's starting to pick up. And they heard and have followed my case for a month, and they are just blown away. They're disgusted. They're calling me to find out everything that I've done in the last 2 years. So they know how to go out there and advocate for these parents, because these parents are going to hospitals and their kids are getting taken. You cannot take your kid in the hospital and go in there and think you're coming back out with your child, because you're not. And that's a scary thought. I'm sorry, but the last time I checked, I had my child. Okay? Not the people in the Capitol building, not the government. I gave birth to her. I suffered to raise her. And nobody has any freaking right to do anything to come in and just take her from me for absolutely no good reason. Period. You know? So we went through hell. I mean, anybody that knows our story, and you know, a lot of familiar faces out there, but if you don't, Kylie's Fight on Facebook, it'll tell all. And we not only fought and are still fighting, but without Joey, without Kelly Stewart, without so many of us that came together on Facebook, that uniting and coming together is what seriously got my daughter back. After she was marked for adoption, they were going to ship her out after she was forced into a medical surgery that was very deadly. And we are now paying the repercussions of it. So that's the government for you here in Oregon, and that's what Kate Brown here in the Capitol is allowing to happen. Okay, we reached out to her. We reached out to everyone she works with. I know every senator up in here. We've sat down with them on numerous occasions. There are some amazing senators in here, and they are in support. They are in support. They're trying to, you know, have our backs. They're trying, but you know what? With the governor like this, you guys, it's not going to happen.
Supermajority.
Yep.
They're not going to have a
Yep. And you know what, though? It is. But this is the other thing. The more we come together, the more we unite. We are who pays their checks. We are who has, you know, worked our butts off in generations to come and generations behind us as to what made this country great. You know, just kind of like how he's even said it. You want to make America great again? Then we need to step up as the citizens. We have to do something about it. Or we can sit behind the four walls and think that, you know, a miracle is going to happen. Well, it's not. It's going to be through us. And the miracle for my daughter happened because it was us coming together, uniting and fighting, but peacefully doing it out of love and compassion for one another. And even for those on the other side, you know what? Pray for them. Seriously. They're blind. They're blind, and they're taking over, you know. The evil is really heavy, and it's dark. But what do we got to do? We got to live by example, and we got to put our hearts out there, and we have to, you know, be that light in that dark world. And, you know, for my daughter and our case, keep us in continued prayers. They are still moving forward with charging me with 4 Class C felonies. So, and that's for taking my daughter out of the state and looking for other treatments. We were looking for a second opinion, and they had sent the FBI after us. And Kate Brown has a good rap sheet with that. And, you know, they came and took her out of my arms, and I fought 9 months hard to get her back, and we won that case, you know, fair and square, and with God's help. And now the criminal case, they have not dropped, and they're still moving forward and trying to charge me double jeopardy. And they're trying to charge me with the same charges that I've already been dismissed on. And so that is, you know, that should give you guys a rude awakening of what we're facing here. They're breaking every law, not only here at the Capitol, but in every city, in every county. They are yanking kids out of, you know, mothers and parents, fathers' arms. And it's sad that even though we know our laws, even though we can hire attorneys to fight for us, even the attorneys can be paid off. Even the attorneys can be threatened like mine was. And you have to have this right here, a community to fight, to stand up and say, no, you know what, that's wrong. You know, I get up even at 3 a.m. and when a parent calls me, hey, I'm at the hospital with my child, they're gonna take my kid. What do? I roll out and I go and help, because that's the only way we're gonna be able to make it out alive. Seriously. And if we don't have that, what else do we have? Nothing. You know, so just, that's been on my heart. What's really laid heavy for my daughter and I, and my other daughter as well. It's painful. We have a lot of healing. She now has a lot of medical issues. She was perfectly fine and healed and healing, but they did not want that on record. They did not want anyone to know that there are natural treatments out there for cancer. And guess what? That's been out there for a long time. I'm not the first to say it. Too bad. Yes, there is. And do some damn research, and anybody with it does not belong in a hospital. Trust me. My daughter had the most deadliest one, stage 4, and she had 4 weeks to live, and guess what? She's living just fine. It's almost 2 years later, and it's because of the natural treatments. It's because thank you. Because us as citizens should have that right. If we want to treat naturally, and my daughter didn't die, actually we got sent home with 4 weeks to live, and she survived that. She outlived what they said that their care would do. That should say something. You shouldn't come after me because that's what I did. Is that criminal? Because I saved my own daughter's life, I am now a criminal? Are you kidding me? What country are we living in? You know? And so that for me is where I will fight hard. And it's not just medical kidnapping. It's just all the way around the freedom of, as a parent, to make a choice that is going to be for the better being of our child. If we can prove that it is, then what's the problem? You know? There isn't one, besides everybody just wanting to run this country as if we're a third world country. I don't know about you, but I came from Europe and we ran away from that stuff there. Why would we want to come live here if that's how things are here now, you know? So other than that, I just want to thank everybody, Joey, Rainey, all of you guys, everybody that have stepped up to fight with families in my case, in other cases, seriously, because there's no way I would have even made it out alive, and I mean that.
Well, your situation, can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Your situation, you said you didn't have anything to do with this here, in particular, except your rights as far as a parent. Well, that's what the state's doing to us, as voters.
Yeah.
They're taking our rights away too.
Yeah.
This vote's got to be on the ballot. Ballot has to be separated.
That's right. That's right.
Separated.
That's right.
In a separate ballot, so we can all vote on it. But they're not letting us do that. So,
well,
and as far as your situation, they screwed you over, and they're screwing the voters of Oregon.
for her to even think that something like that can be passed is absolutely insane. It's almost like a Twilight Zone. Is like, are we really talking about voters not being able to have a vote in, and then you want to get even more dishonest about what's happening, where we have Kim Thatcher going for Secretary of State, and she's talking about the government needing to be more transparent and more honest, and here she is, no, let's keep hiding things. Why? So we can keep, hiding the sex trafficking that's happening. Really, we'll wake up. We in Oregon, we know it's happening. We can't get any more blind to it, because kids are getting snagged up everywhere. You don't have to, be dead to not knowing that it's happening. So for her to think that there's got to be more, dishonesty in hiding something more than she already is pretty insane. But, it's us standing up, and the louder we get, the louder we're going to be able to make that move and move forward and make those changes. But until then, we're going to sit like a bunch of sitting ducks, and everybody's going to look at each other and say, well, what do we do? What do we do? Are you serious? We're citizens. Go back to the constitutional law, right? Citizens arrest. I mean, there's things that come up to that point that we need to unite, come together peacefully with love, and say, hey, you know what? This isn't working. What are our options? What can we do? Moving forward, what changes can we make to stop, the sick things that are happening here? It's evil, and it's got to go, period.
Well, we got to get the rural areas, the canyons, everywhere.
There's a lot of problems, but we got to start somewhere.
Well, it's Portland, Salem, and Eugene.
Exactly.
That dictates.
You're right.
We got to get everybody from everywhere.
And there's a lot of people between Portland and Eugene and Salem, and even all the way down to Medford and Eastern. I mean, we're everywhere, but we have to be able to come together. More support when there's rallies like this, peaceful rallies. This should be the entire place here should have been packed with thousands of people. And I even said this on my live last night, and I have thousands and thousands of followers. There is something seriously wrong when these events are being put on, and then parents want to get upset when their kids get yanked, or they can't do a vote, or they can't, make a choice. But then yet they're the ones that sat behind those four walls when it was happening. So it's a little frustrating, and I have taken that frustration out even on my lives, where I'm like, you know what, you guys want change, but you don't want to do anything about the change. That's right. So until you step up and come out and do something about it, there is going to be no change.
Right. Well, it's just
But seriously, thank you guys for Joey, everybody that has been involved in our case for months now, and I mean months, and senators, reps, you guys have been amazing supporters. Your guys' love, your compassion, and just being there for us and coming together. We had more people come together on our case than we have standing here at the Capitol today, and that breaks my heart, That does, because this place should be packed by the thousands with all the issues that we are standing in front of. Hundreds of issues, okay? I just saw a video, just to end it with this, today, on my way over here, and they were voting, okay? It was one of the panels they were voting on, and the other party had to be told what to vote and how to vote. Did you see that? That was so funny. But at the same time, it was so sad, because you know what? That is what we're dealing with, you guys. My 13-year-old could have answered yes or no on what bill she wanted and how she felt. But this is what's sad. The senators are not even doing their job at knowing and understanding the bill. They're voting on what they're told to vote. Yes, no, yes, no, really? What is it? Yes, no? Can you ask yourself that? Do you know what you're voting on? Do you know what you're approving? No. Because all you care about is the dollar that was put in your pocket for you to say yes or no. That's it. You want the truth? The truth's out there. Seriously, research it. Pay close attention, because it can't go over our heads if we pay closer attention, research more, get involved in groups, follow our page, follow Joey's page, follow Cole Rainey. You guys, we normally come together, and we're going to keep coming together. We're going to keep putting events on, but we need more people to come out. We need to seriously put our foot down, drag a friend out, a sister, a mother, I don't care. Start bringing people here, because you guys, pretty soon we're not going to have that option. We're not going to be able to vote. To take our voters away from us, that's scary. That's a whole nother level. That is something we need to wake up and say, no, enough is enough. This isn't okay.
The Republican senators,
most people are
held it
paying
off.
for these people.
Exactly.
We're lucky.
And we're blessed to have senators that are, bold enough to stand up for the right of what? The people. Okay? Right. That is amazing, and that is a blessing, and that is one reason why, I've even supported a lot of the senators through my case. It's just, even with Thatcher and a lot of, Tim Knopp, a lot of them have great hearts, but you guys, they're outnumbered. So when they're outnumbered, we as the people need to stand up and support what we believe in and what they believe in. And the transparency thing, I'm sorry, that's black and white. There's nothing, shaded about it. For Kim Thatcher to come out and say, I want to go for Secretary of State because we need more transparency in our government. That's a senator that's been a senator for quite a while, and she's seen enough. And if she's seen enough, we as the people should say we've seen enough, and enough is enough. And we don't need to keep moving forward with what we've accepted, okay? We do have a choice, and we do pay taxes, and we do pay their checks, and we have every right to know absolutely anything. The fact that you want to hide something, that scares me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
The fact that you want to hide anything that should be transparent in numbers and kids and how many numbers and kids we're missing out of the CPS system. Are you serious? Wow. 480,000 in the last couple years out of the state of Oregon alone. But they want to put out there that it's only been 20,000, 30,000. No. Between 3 counties, it was almost 480,000. But those are the numbers she wants to hide. That's what she wants to hide. So they can continue their sick, disgusting roles of what they're doing in this country, and it's absolutely wrong. And we do need to stand up, period, no matter what. But thank you guys all. God bless you guys. I really appreciate all you guys that did show up here today. It means a lot. And please continue to just pray for those families that still don't have their kids and haven't had their kids for years. And there's a lot of advocacy that we need a lot of people to step up. And there's a lot of different resources we're putting together right now. Follow Kylie's fight if you're interested. If you're interested in advocating, we need advocates at a national level. So God bless you guys. Take care. Thank you for everything. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
So I just want to say a few things that came to mind when I was listening to Chrissy's speech. We have the justice system in our state is completely and totally screwed up. Who here agrees with that?
Yes!
I mean, we have judges who give mere slaps on the wrist to child rapists, while people like Kylie's dad, who is a child sex abuser, get let off the hook. We have a justice system that somehow says it's legal to be a sanctuary state. How is that legal? It's a federal issue. It's a federal crime, and it's Congress's job to pass immigration law, as well as trade policy. Which is why this cap and trade thing actually qualifies as treason under Oregon state law. As treason is defined as adhering to or giving aid to an enemy to the state of Oregon. China is an enemy of the state of Oregon, and giving them our tax dollars is a means of treason.
Come on.
Yeah! We're getting the honks. But this predatory cultural Marxism that we're seeing in the state of Oregon is spreading. If you look at Portland, the amount of child sex predators and the amount of child trafficking in Portland is astronomical. It made the Washington Times that Portland was the second highest in the country for child sex trafficking. Over 800,000 children are sex trafficked every year, according to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Those are ridiculous numbers. But we have a climate crisis? We have a climate crisis when kids are being ripped out of their... It's disgusting. The sky is falling. But the reality is, we do have a crisis. We do have a crisis. We have a crisis of children being abducted from their homes, from foster care, and being shipped, whether it be by the state or whether it be in the black market. We have kids getting taken away from their families every single day, and that is a problem.
Yes. Wow, that's good.
They always come after those less strong than them. They always prey on the weak because they're cultural Marxists. They look down on us. Why do you think Kate Brown thinks it's okay to meet with rich Chinese oligarchs and discuss ways they can extort the taxpayer? Wow. She looks at us like we're nothing, like we're pawns. That's ridiculous. Because we are no sheep. Hey! We keep getting honks. It's a good thing. But in the state of Oregon, we're suffering. Oregon is under attack. Our families are being ripped apart. They claim that the biggest crisis facing our country is children being separated from their families at the border. Well, we have children being separated from their families right here in the state of Oregon.
Amen.
Wow.
How is this permissible?
It's not.
How is this okay as a society for us to tolerate the abuses of children on a systematic level?
No. Because we stand down.
It's because we stand down, exactly. And that's why we're here today. Draining Oregon Swamp is all about protecting the innocent. It's all about protecting those who cannot protect themselves. It's all about speaking for those who cannot speak for themselves. Who here thinks it's our responsibility to speak up for those who can't speak for themselves? Can I hear it? We have an epidemic in this country. And we're seeing it grow every day with the increased size of bureaucracy, the bureaucracy of DHS and CPS, as they receive 3-to-1 federal funding for every single child in state custody. How is that okay? That gives a financial incentive for the state to take away our children.
Wow.
Who here thinks that's wrong?
That's wrong. That's wrong. Wow, that's wrong.
Oregon swamp is clogged. We have Jennifer Williamson, who her career is over now, thankfully. She had to drop out of the Secretary of State race, as I mentioned. But she was on camera, admitting that she lobbied for easier sentencing for child sex abusers.
Wow.
And that's on my Facebook page. Go look it up. Worst of Jennifer Williamson.
Wow.
It's right in there. She said that she told the Senate president, I think it's in the best interest of Oregon to lower the minimum sentences for these child sex abusers.
Wow.
How is that just?
Yeah.
How is that okay? It's not. And until we embrace good over evil in this state, we will never see this end. Until we embrace morality over vanity, over greed, we will never see this state recover.
Wow.
This is a spiritual war.
It is.
And we're on the right side. We're on God's side.
Yeah, we are.
And you need to be able to vote.
Whether it be cap and trade, sanctuary policies,
Yeah.
medical kidnapping, I could go on and on and on. But this state is crumbling. And it's because we've had one-party rule for the last, well, the Republicans who were in the 70s weren't even Republicans. They were funded by the Rockefellers.
Wow.
Have you ever heard of the Bottle Bill? They took a bunch of private land of all the beaches that was owned by individuals and took it for the state. That's not okay. And we need to realize that we're in a state of crisis here.
Yeah.
The politicians in there, not the ones who walked, because the ones who walked truly represent us. But the politicians in that marble nut house, they don't care about us.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
All they care about is lining their own pockets.
That's right. Yep.
That's why they wanted cap and trade passed. Cap and trade is a slush fund.
Yeah.
I already explained this, but I'll explain it for those of you who just arrived. Cap and trade takes our tax dollars and takes Chinese tax dollars and allocates them to agencies who partake in private-public partnerships with Chinese corporations, and then they unionize, collect public union dues, and donate to Democrats only. Who here thinks that's fair?
That's no transparency.
And also, at the hearing, the work session for cap and trade, the last one, Dallas Hurd revealed that financial transactions of carbon credits would be hidden under cap and trade. So we wouldn't even be able to see if the Chinese bought carbon credits.
Right.
We wouldn't know who owns these energy facilities.
Yeah.
There would just be clean energy jobs coming that are owned by the Chinese. President Xi is in bed with every single corporation that does business in China. That's how a communist country works.
Yeah.
Talk about civil rights in China.
China is absolute. I was talking on this earlier. China is continuously violating human rights. They are not an ally, not in any way, shape, or form. China continuously stomps on free speech. They have no Second Amendment. They have no privacy rights. They have no right to an attorney. Their justice system is screwed. In their jails for white-collar crimes, or even crimes that are victimless, such as criticizing the government, people are forced to eat rats. People literally are starving in jail. China continuously violates human rights, and they're not an ally of Oregon. And aside from that, China and the United States are in a trade war. Who here is aware of the trade war? Yeah. We're putting tariffs on Chinese goods for a reason. And it's not just because of intellectual property theft, it's because they continuously violate human rights and they continuously put our troops at risk in the Pacific.
That's right. All the time.
We need to realize that the politicians in that marble nut house are sold out to China. If they're still here and they want to vote on cap and trade, they're adhering to an enemy of the United States of America.
All right.
That is treason.
That's treason.
Who here thinks that's treason? Yeah. So we need to realize that meeting with Chinese oligarchs is not a good thing. Selling us out to China is not a good thing. These things are not for the environment, as they want to move us all to electric, but electric batteries are not renewable. And the process of getting them requires mining cobalt.
That's right.
Which they send little African boys in to mine this cobalt and they get cancer and die. How is that okay? How are you truly for human rights when you advocate a process which exploits children for child labor? That's what globalism is. It's the exploitation of third world countries to the benefit of politicians. That is not okay. With that in mind, I'd like to thank you all for showing up. Give yourselves a round of applause for showing up here today.
Thank you.
Now, I'm not sure what you guys have planned after this, but if you're still in a political mood, we could go in and, kindly talk to the legislators and ask them why they decided not to walk, why they're sold out to China. If you're heading home, I wish you a safe drive home, and I thank you for coming. God bless. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Oh yeah, it's my 21st birthday today too. Thank you all so much. God bless you all.
All right, to the bar.
Not till later.
Yeah, it's the 21. Happy birthday. One voter. Look at that. Capital. That was pretty fun. That's a little hour and a half thing. I'm gonna get some food for sure. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna end this stream real quick. I'm going to get it saved so I can upload it by itself. So we can have that for public. And then I'll restart the stream about 5 more minutes. Don't leave, the party just starting. What party? I'm hungry. There's a party starting where? Oh, so usually there's punch and cake whenever I see parties. I'm gonna get one of the guys' flags, dude. Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Strawberry brandy.
What?
Strawberry brandy.
Next, nice, PortlandAndy. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Did you enjoy the?
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. You have, good, excellent. We got an IRL chatter in the house. That's why she looks so wonderful today, and she's all dressed up. She wanted to make a good impression on everybody. Hey, I love it. I love it. They commented on your outfit earlier. Let's go get one of these flags, guys, like I was going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that there are times where, say, someone is really mentally ill, where that might be a case where it's appropriate. But really what I think that if more and more people are armed, more and more people are deterrent. So anyone that is mentally sane that decides to commit a crime against someone who's armed,
Here's the wingman.
if that person has the right to shoot them, if more people pay like that,
Cheers.
right? Then I think
not necessarily against like regulating something for people like
Give me a second here.
in imminent danger.
They do. They always have punch and coffee and stuff at the Antifa parties.
And I feel that that is a violation of the Second Amendment. You know, so I mean, although it seems like common sense to try to stop mentally ill people from being armed, it's still an infringement. So, which is going to win, the Second Amendment or the infringement? You know what I mean? So, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean,
So you basically would say no red flag laws.
I would say no red flag law.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman who made threats at a protest. He said he wanted to kill Antifa. For sure. And they put red flag laws on him. So you would say, would you say that he should, someone that's going out there
Someone
saying, I
that
want
says
to
they
kill.
want to kill Antifa, I would say I can't blame them.
So, but what if they're saying, like, I want to kill
Terrorists.
Trump supporters, for example?
Well, I think they just made a movie about it and they published that, and apparently that's okay in society.
Right, but
It's
should
not
they be
okay to
allowed to buy
threaten.
guns? That's my question. Like, should they be allowed to purchase? If someone's openly, like, hateful and, you know, extreme, and they say they want to hurt Trump supporters or they want to hurt Antifa or any group,
You know what I mean?
like, I feel
Yeah.
like they should be disarmed.
I think,
because they are in
I
imminent
think
danger.
that they should be able to buy a firearm, and I think that the person that they're coming after, I think, and I hope that they would be armed as well.
Do you think
Because then
illegal
they-
immigrants should be allowed to purchase guns?
I don't think I think that illegal immigrants should be deported.
Okay, so no.
Yeah, no. But once if they were illegal, if they
But the
were
thing is, they're like people say they're gonna get guns anyways. Like that's kind of the argument. Like, well, it's illegal and people are illegal, they're gonna
Right.
get guns.
Right.
Well, like illegal immigrants is gonna get guns.
right. Well, and that goes again. That's that argument where if you infringe on law-abiding citizens' right to bear arms, any rights, so you restrict any of their buying ability. But you know that people that are bad, so even people that are mentally ill, are going to go, if they really want to kill somebody and they're very serious, they're going to go get a firearm no matter what. You know, even I myself could probably go buy a firearm without any kind of background check, without kind of any legality at all, if I really wanted to. So that says that any Antifa member, anybody that hates Antifa, anybody that hates Trump or Trump supporters, any of the illegal immigrants could go out and buy a firearm off the black market and then come and shoot someone. And what if that person, per se, that was being threatened, okay, what if they their rights were infringed upon? What if somebody reported them and they got a red flag? So that person could not go and buy a firearm. Now this person that can go buy a firearm illegally will go and kill them. What do you say about that? You know. So this is why the argument for me is like no infringements, none.
But then, like with that argument, it would also be like, well, illegal immigrants, maybe they need to defend themselves too. Like even though they're here, you feel like they shouldn't be here. But like, there's also you're kind of saying like this, the right to self-defense is like a natural right. Like everyone should have it.
I do believe it is a natural right. I also think that illegal immigrants, I think that they should do the right thing, and I think that they should apply for citizenship. Now, that's not to say I don't understand, you know, I do understand that the immigration system sucks. There's no reason they should have to wait 5 years or more to get in here. So I believe in immigration reform. I think that they shouldn't have to wait over a year. I think even a year is ridiculous, especially considering the circumstances that they're facing in their countries. So, you know, maybe 6 months to a year, and then they could be vetted and brought in, and they would have the same rights as everyone else. But they don't have a right to come in here illegally at all. Right.
With the technology we have nowadays, I agree. They've got way faster ways to process people now. Look at this new facial recognition thing that they've got going on, where people can be recognized. Everybody here right now can be pulled up and they can do some of the things that you're up to.
I think that's a very scary thought. I really don't approve of the facial recognition crap.
It is.
That scares me to death. You know, because if the government deems me a threat, and then I come here just to use my First Amendment, there's that Allison, we're gonna red flag the shit out of her, you know, like that's really scary to me.
Absolutely.
You know, and I wouldn't want them taking away my Second Amendment rights because they see me as a threat, which I'm kind of a threat to them because their supermajority rule is ruining our way of life.
I don't agree with them.
That's where I'm
Yeah, no, it's understandable. I just feel like someone like Antifa, since we do have red flag laws in Oregon currently, they would be someone who I would feel is just disarmed under that law. That they go out and they talk about murdering the police, killing the police, openly calling for that, tagging about the police, killing them. So like to me that shows that they're an imminent threat to law enforcement, specifically that group. So that's why I'm saying Antifa's a red flag and they should be disarmed because I worry about them. You know, if they were here today, they would be over at the offices chanting all this hate speech towards them, telling them that they should die, they shouldn't be here. And to me, like that's a red flag right there, big time. So.
I agree with you. I agree with you that they themselves are a big red flag.
But I think that the best deterrent to their crime and their committing of murder against people that they disagree with or hurting them is us being armed. So let me tell you, when we go to a rally and we're armed, you think they're going to touch me? You think they're going to touch me when I got a gun on my
crazy,
hip?
they might.
Well, then I guess they asked.
Right.
That's true. Did you see what happened to the Antifa guy that touched that officer's gun just recently?
No.
He touched it. He got a nice left hook.
Oh yeah. That's a priceless video. You can watch that over and over and over again. That's excellent.
But you know,
He tried putting his gun down, I think. Or he had his gun or something and he pushed it down and the guy goes,
Yep. Done, son.
And they're not enforcing those. If they enforce those, and you know when they're doing these, it's not really a whole lot different than a race. When you're going against somebody.
Let's go get some food.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
And, you know,
I have one of your awesome flags there. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Police,
Yeah.
Hey, Mike Bloomberg.
You want to spread the mouth and sharing.
I got a new flag for the wall. All right, guys. We're gonna go get some food. I'm gonna end the stream here. And then I'll come back in like 5 minutes once it gets processing. We'll restart the stream. We'll go have some lunch and we'll enjoy ourselves. I do appreciate all the generous donations today so far. Thank you so much. Oceans and Gee Whiz. Y'all make you make the world go around, as they say. But anyway, we'll be back. We're gonna go get some food. Maybe some chicken wings. We'll figure it out. See ya.